Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Monday, July 1st. So the month has changed over. We've gotten a new patch, we've gotten a new announcement on Hearthstone for the next expansion. And we might as well start off with saying, also it seems like, and this is just hot off the presses news I just saw, so I might be spreading some fake news here. It seems to me like Hearthstone and Blizzard, in an effort to what I can only assume is to appeal to even more conservative countries than China, because Hearthstone's already in China, so I'm thinking Middle East, Islamic countries type things. They've announced that they're going to change the art, and in one case of the Succubus demon, change the name, at least, of those cards, so that they will not have violence, blood, or nudity, or sexually suggestive costumes in them. So it's either one or two things. Either they're desperately trying to get into more conservative than China countries, which Middle East is basically what I guess from that, which I don't think that you're going to significantly change anybody's feelings about whether it's okay to play video games in the Middle East by a few alterations, or this is a case of, because so many people have left Blizzard and Activision in general, that some new person has been allowed to get into power since, Ben Brode, the person who was in power, is gone, and they're implementing some pretty crazy SJW policies. But even in that thought, like, the SJWs have never really been against blood or violence. Maybe they're trying to make this more kid-friendly. Frankly, this probably should be a more kid-friendly game. There still is the nude mod for Hearthstone out there, so it would be perfectly okay, I guess, to, as an adult, install that mod and then have the game be more kid-friendly in general. Although then you get into some creepiness factors. If I was playing a Lego game and I found out that there was a Lego game nude mod, that would feel kind of creepy, because it's a game that was originally and always intended to be for little kids. There very possibly will be an original art mod that comes out pretty quickly. The new thing here is with this update, is we have 8 new additional cards to be added to Classic, which probably are, if I was to guess, let's look at what this is. Summon all friendly minions that died this turn. This seems like this was a card that already existed in some form or factor, but probably isn't wild now. Add a random legendary minion to your hand. There was definitely a card like that. Summon a random beast. So they're taking some of the best ideas that they want to see in the game always and making them classic cards. It's taken them quite a while to do that, but the idea of cycling things out has really messed with that too. Your other demons have +1 attack, give your minions divine shield, give your minions +2/+2 in taunt. And whenever you cast a spell, gain +2/+2. And here's ST7 Infiltrator, destroy a random enemy secret. And I believe this is one of the cards that has had its artwork changed. These others seem like they're new names and new card and new art, but they're pretty much the same thing. Some cards are now wild and can't be played in standard. I wonder which that'll be. Mind Blast and Vanish. So are these classic cards that they got rid of? These cards have been added to the basic set. Give a friendly minion poisonous. Restore 5 health to your hero. That seems like an arbitrary, unnecessary change. Alright, so what do we want to roll? This. And let's see what the shop shows us. You can pre-purchase Saviors of the... Does that say... Saviors of... I can't read any of this text. It's so small. It is so crammed small here. I cannot read any of this. Well, this is the new expansion, Saviors of Eldon, or something like that. Meanwhile, now that we have these new classic cards, we can open these packs. It wasn't a long wait that we had to really wait on. And almost certainly these are all just redundant things. Oh well. No, those are all redundant. So it doesn't seem like any of my decks have been affected by this change. Let's see if the artwork has been changed yet. Let's see. I'm looking at all cards, and there's nothing here called Succubus. So either that search doesn't work, or Succubus has been changed. It would be a waste of time to go through all of these trying to find the things that have changed. Let's just find Succubus as where it should be, because clearly I would have had Succubus before. It was a 2-mana demon, so it had to be here. So it's got to be somewhere here, or they've already changed it. Frankly, it looks like a lot of this art might have been slightly retouched up. But there is a slight inconsistency too on it. Where, you know, sometimes this art doesn't look like that art, doesn't look like that art, because they do have different artists do it. Alright. This is new. That's not it. There's a Queen of Pain card that's wild. I suspect the wild cards may take longer to be edited down. Hearthstone though was never particularly explicit with the art anyway, so it seems kind of ridiculous that you would censor it even more. That feels like that's something that should have been a consideration from the beginning, and it's just not. If it wasn't, it's too late. This is going to bring about the cries of censorship, for sure. I swear Succubus is supposed to be here. Let's see. Well, we know it's a demon, so if I type in demon, we could filter it down a little bit more. It's not Queen of Pain. It's not that one. They may have just removed Succubus completely and not replaced it with the new card. But that doesn't make sense either, because then it would show up as something that needs to be crafted. Maybe it's a 3 or 4 mana. I swear it isn't. Yeah, it seems like Succubus is gone. And I can't find the replacement card that is gonna come out to replace it. So maybe they've just took out Succubus right now, and they're gonna add something else later. Let's hop into actually playing. We have Mage and Shaman games, and then we need to play. None of these decks seem to have been affected in any way. We can play, let's see, I guess Murloc Shaman might work at ranked. Not wild though, let's play standard. Or do we want to play Cyclone Mage? I want to try Cyclone Mage. So I've been recording Zombie, Z-O-M-B-I-I. I believe is how it's spelled, or is it maybe just one I? And that game is so incredibly crashy that every time you walk by a save point, you basically have to save. But also, for a 2012 game that was a Wii U launch title, it is a low effort game. You're running around London fighting zombies. You go to Buckingham Palace, and that seems to be about it. Doesn't seem like you're gonna go to like the Eye of the World, which is that giant wheel, Ferris wheel. It doesn't seem like you're going to go to the House of Parliament. It doesn't seem like you're going to go to something like Leicester Square, or even be on busy London streets that would just traditionally be narrow and full of black cabs. You don't see really any of that, so it seems like it was kind of a low effort in that way. It seems like it heavily tries to steal ideas from things like Resident Evil 4, in the fact that you have this backup and you have this backpack, and you have to be careful on your inventory, but really it's insanity because nothing stacks except for bullets. And yeah, nothing stacks except for bullets. The health things don't stack. The weapons take up a spot, so you can't really even hold all the weapons. I've gotten one of what I believe is 2 upgrades to the backpack, and the first upgrade only gave me 2 more slots to hold items. You have flares and grenades, they don't stack. You have health that doesn't stack. You have weapons that take up spot. You have a flashlight that takes up a spot that you can't get rid of. It's really ridiculous. Every level is just this really slowly drawn out map with maybe 8 to 15 rooms that you will walk around in a circle, and once you've walked around that circle, you will eventually once you walk around in that circle, you'll eventually double back into a central place that's either the entrance or exit. But then they also managed to put in some secrets that are going to make me double back quite a bit if I want to get all these secrets. So yeah, it's not a great game. It's got 3 different tap A mini games and a lot of events that look like they should be QuickTime events, but there is no QuickTime events that happen. And there's a lot of scanning. The main idea was with the Wii U tablet controller, you were supposed to put the tablet up and scan things while looking at that screen. But now playing it on the PC version, which again is super buggy, I found that it stopped giving me the Uplay rewards that I spent actual Uplay points to unlock unless I launch it from Uplay instead of launching it from Steam, which is weird. And the Uplay rewards are terrible anyways. They're just skins on the cricket bat, which is your main weapon. The story seems ridiculous with, so far, it seems like 2 characters on screen that you've interacted with, and there's 1 off-screen female character that we're hearing in flashbacks, and that's kind of it. And the whole point of any zombie story is really the point of how the humans interact with each other and survive this conflict. And so there's a whole element there of a lack of understanding on what makes zombie movies good. The Walking Dead is not good because there are zombies walking around it. The Walking Dead is good because of all the characters and how they interact with it. And when I say The Walking Dead is good, I'm take your pick on whatever part of The Walking Dead you actually think is good. Hey, we have somebody on the chat saying hi. It's a Russian name, so I won't try to pronounce it, but I'll say hi back. So yeah, I'm working through Zombie, but I'm also at any point in a very high danger of rage quitting that game because I've already spent at least 40 minutes playing the game twice because of crashes. Alright, so the person who just said hi is now typing in Russian. There is a rule over here, English only. If you do it again, I'm going to have to kick you out of the chat because I cannot moderate messages that are not in English since I can't read English. Play this. And what do we want to do?
I don't have enough mana.
No! Job's done.
Of course, it's the explosive trap. I'm seeing a tweet here saying that Tavern Brawls now will only be down for a single hour each week. So that's interesting. It says every week on Wednesday 9 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Or is when the Tavern Brawls will start, and they will go to the next week at 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So Tavern Brawls are not going down, which then all of a sudden changes how often we have to do Tavern Brawls. Now if there's a day where there isn't very much news, then we are going to
Quickly.
Alright, that person didn't listen, so these posts are now hidden. Cards that summon minions. Do I have any cards that will summon minions? Oh man, is it gonna start raining again? Ew. What if I was to do this?
Together, united for Dalaran.
And then did this.
We are friends now. Hello, friend.
Us. Job done.
Time runs out on me.
interesting. That was an interesting turn of events. I don't know if that's really gonna save me anything, though. So, yeah, now the Tavern Brawls are different. We might do a Tavern Brawl every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Friday. I think that would work pretty nicely, just thinking off the top of my head there.
You require my
Yeah, I think that will work quite well. So, freeze a minion if it's frozen, do 2 damage on it. Discover a spell.
Aha! Aha!
Let's go ahead and hit this.
Aha! Astounding!
And let's go ahead and hit that.
Time runs out on me.
Let's see, I guess we'll go ahead and kill that one. Oh, I forgot this. I didn't realize this had lifesteal on it, so casting the spell, the Fire Blast spell, didn't do anything. Well, I guess if we do this,
Aha!
that works on that. And do that. And do that. And then that. Do that.
Astounding! Ha! You bought that!
And then end the turn. Let's see how that works. So, as far as today goes, I don't think that there's a lot of great games. The Steam Summer Sale is still going on. The Steam Summer Sale at this point is proven to be completely a nightmare scenario. Just like people not understanding it, or it being very terribly designed in general. Right. 6, 12, and 5. So, yeah. I can't really blame it so much on E3 at this point. I just think we're kind of in a slump where give it past maybe the 4th of July and the Amazon Prime sale. It's kind of odd that the Amazon Prime Day sale happens when it does. It is kind of scheduled around nothing. But yeah, I'm not really expecting
You asked for it.
any major games to start trickling out for a couple more weeks, and then it should start ramping up. I think we should start to see some steady ramping towards October and towards towards November and December in the holidays. At least a major AAA game every 2 to 3 weeks. Although maybe not all of them will be on Steam. So we don't have much of a selection. First game we have here is called Hercules and the Princess of Troy. That doesn't look like much. Looks like it's a platformer that might have been acceptable in the 90s, but as a new game, it's lacking texture in the walls, and it looks just like it's a platformer or experimental project of a game. It's early access for $4.99, English only. Yeah, nothing there inspires enough confidence to put that on the follow list. So this story is back in the news. TechRaptor has this article. The Chinese publisher IndieVent sees business license revoked due to the game Devotion. Now remember, Devotion was the game that came out, I believe it was Thai horror game, and the developer I don't think has anything to do with China, but the publisher in China I guess was IndieVent. Now a artist snuck in some insults into some background art against the president, and then all of a sudden there was a lot of what seemed like Chinese bots downvoting this new game Devotion when it came out. It eventually had to remove itself completely from Steam and has yet, to my knowledge, been re-uploaded under any other name or anything else since then. And it doesn't feel like the entire company endorsed this, or at least they are now claiming that they don't endorse it. It's impossible to know if maybe this was their plan all along, although I don't think it would have been a smart plan to sell your game on controversy. Inherently, the Chinese vote botting on Devotion seems to be the direct factor for Steam getting not allowing what was the word I'm trying to say? Review bombing? Yeah, that's it. But inherently, since the review bombing statement that Steam said, where they're going to start removing review bombs, or what they were calling off-topic review bombs, that has not worked in the consumer's favor in any way whatsoever. Even in this instance, where it really was a rock being between a rock and a hard place, you either allow a government entity, which I cannot state it any other way than that was exactly what was happening.
Behold the tools of creation.
Like a government entity, almost guaranteed, was paying people and having bots review Devotion that was, I don't even think, supported English as a language. So yeah, that's something that where they either had to say no or yes. It is a weird thing now that the Chinese government is still going after the publisher. Maybe the publisher themselves lost their license for a different reason. Devotion is made by Red Candle Games, and yeah, we can go over this. And this is the joke that apparently infuriates the president, that he looks like Winnie the Pooh. And of course they always make this collaboration, and this was what a lot of the review bombing was on Devotion, is that if you insult the way this president, who is basically emperor at this point, let's face it, he's president for life, and even the Chinese people really don't like that. If you insult the president, though, you're insulting the entire Chinese government and the entire Chinese country, and it's like, alright, that's a stretch.
Behold,
That's not
the
realistic.
tools of creation.
That's not being
Tools of creation.
honest about what's going on.
Return to nothing.
Let's see. IndieVent quickly cut ties with Red Candle Games. However, they still lost their license, so yeah. That sounds like a totalitarian country. That sounds like China to me. It's like, if you do anything, if somebody you know does something wrong, this is where the whole social credit score element comes in and just shows how dangerous it is, and it's oddly being adapted in similar ways to around the world. Even the United States, some companies are starting to try to create their own kind of social credit score.
Return to nothing.
But yeah, people that may be in some way connected to you, but you may have no effect on that. If that comes to if somebody you are vaguely related to does something that irritates the Chinese government, then you still may get in trouble. The Chinese government is they quote broke relevant laws, which if there is some other law they broke, I wouldn't also be surprised about that, but at the moment it seems kind of obvious that what this is just trying to hurt somebody that they can hurt because they can't hurt the actual relevant parties. Turn. Tech Raptor continues to date. Devotion has not been let back on Steam. I don't think let back on Steam is the appropriate term, because I don't think Valve had any real action there about them being removed. But you can still buy their previous game, which was somewhat Detention, which was a pretty big success. And I imagine Devotion, they've got to find some other company to publish it under a different name, and like I don't know what else you can do. There is try to sell it on the controversy. Maybe you could do that, but that's kind of all you can do. I imagine Red Candle Games is just trying to hope that the controversy ends, and certainly this is not. That's going to take a while. Hey, we're winning, so let's see if we can keep a win streak. Alright. Moving on to our next story, TechRaptor has an article. WizKid announces a prehistoric worker placement game called Age of Dirt. This is a board game. That's why I've never heard of WizKids. Alright. Well. Moving on. Let's see. fix all of that. Gamatsu has an article, Mob Psycho 100 Psychic Battle has been announced for smartphones. I suppose you could probably have a turn-based RPG mobile game around the Mob Psycho anime. It is, I guess, something that would work. It almost feels like it would be a Pokemon-esque game. Now, I don't know how much you should trust Crunchyroll games. And this is an iOS and Android game. It probably isn't going to be that fun. It's probably going to be somewhat like the Pocket Morty's cell phone game, where you're playing some similar content that feels a little bit like Rick and Morty, but you're not getting any real new stories or anything interesting in it. You're just kind of doing the same old over and over again. Hearthstone has their update. Hearthstone Saviors of Uldum, U-L-D-U-M. Now I can read it. It seems like this feels a lot like League of Explorers from the visuals. Is what's going to be new. The next installment is our multi-expansion story spanning the entire Year of the Dragon in Saviors of Uldum. You're introduced to 135 scorching hot new cards, added game features, and a brand new exciting mechanics. So, let's see, what do we want to play here? There we go. So one new mechanic is Reborn as a keyword. Let's see. Death is more of a suggestion than for the relentless crypt dwellers and timber crawlers found within. Minions with the Reborn keywords will return to life the first time they're destroyed, but with 1 remaining health. So Reborn is replacing a death rattle where it returns to the hand. Okay. I guess that works. Darn it. So yeah, cards that once had a death rattle that said return this to the field with 1 health, now just have the single word of Reborn on it. The problem with a key phrase like Reborn, though, is it doesn't make any sense until it starts making sense to everybody.
What now?
Next keyword we're going to have is Plagues. Plagues are spells of the ancient power wielded by the 5 League of Evil classes: Priest, Shaman, Warrior, Warlock, and Rogue. These cards wreak havoc indiscriminately, affecting every minion on the board, and so it's best to be one who decides when they're unleashed. So Plagues is not really a keyword, it is just a mini series of spells. Silence and destroy all minions. Put this on the field. And then put this on the field.
Just like you.
And then put that. And that. And in the turn. Next, they're going to add some more quests. Which, okay. More quest cards are cool. But, yeah. Seems like they're going to add a couple of quests every expansion just for 2 of the 9 hero classes.
Light the fuses!
And they're going to add more cards with more things different that they're doing, which is interesting, certainly. Apparently there's going to be a login bonus too, and a solo adventure, which I feel like they really need to do that. And then there's going to be an arena rotation.
I wonder.
There was a Hearthstone like tournament event I was supposed to watch on Twitch and potentially get some packs, and I totally forgot about it. So I didn't get those packs. For whatever that's worth.
Arena's full. Beat it.
There we go. So yeah, feels like Hearthstone is still just chugging along. As much as I am a free speech advocate, and I wouldn't go as far as to call myself a free speech warrior or anything, but as much as I believe in free speech and not censoring the card art, I don't really foresee that there's going to be a huge backlash on Hearthstone because of that. I foresee the backlash on the Hearthstone is going to be just this incremental growing dissatisfaction with the length and the age of the series, and the fact that they really can't do anything to keep people playing. It just doesn't work. Well, interesting. Well, that worked. Yeah, and I think in a lot of ways, card games and Hearthstone will just stick around and not really improve any, until that Marvel card game comes out. I think at this point it is a very big bet that Winbin Broads, the company second inning, comes out with that Marvel card game. We're probably going to switch at that point. We're going to go into the beta hard. I'm going to just kind of give up on Hearthstone. Hearthstone live streams are not really getting any views. Let's be honest about that. Let's see. If I do this, I can't do this. I don't think. Nope. So I have to kind of do this. And then do something like that. And then play this to play
The
that.
future is ours.
So yeah, I think that's where this really is going to just play, is that once the Marvel card game comes out, I'm more than willing to play that. One would hope that the Marvel card game delves deep into the history of characters from Marvel, which is much deeper than the lore of World of Warcraft. So that there could be a big learning experience there, where I could learn new characters and maybe some backstory. Let's see.
Behold the tools of creation. Return to nothing.
Yeah. And yeah, we may come back to Hearthstone. Like, I don't even know how I could come back to Hearthstone though. If I'm giving it up for Marvel, when the Marvel beta comes out, I won't play the daily quests enough to have any gold to be a free-to-player. And continue to open packs and stay up to date with any of that. So it almost is got to be a complete abandonment. We might switch between the two. for a while and see which gets more views, but almost certainly the Marvel one would get more views. The only thing I could imagine is if somehow the Marvel card game got a bunch of copyright claims, then that might be a problem. And since I don't have 1,000 subscribers and I'm not in the YouTube partner program anymore, it's possible that all of my videos nowadays are getting claimed for monetization or rev sharing, and they're not being told to me because YouTube doesn't care. Although it doesn't seem like it works that way. It might work that way. This. This. This.
Aha!
And that. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know how I could stick with Hearthstone. Speaking of not sticking with things, I think Clash Royale is the game I play on my phone. They've introduced this new season pass thing where they want you to pay even more money, and I'm close to having everything upgraded to the max anyways, so I'm thinking I might stop playing Clash of Clans. It's very possible that's where this is going. Interesting. Let's go ahead and play this. I can play this.
Band together, united for Dalaran.
That works for one turn. Yeah, I'm thinking now that I have Destiny Child as a game that I'm playing on my cell phone and finding that a lot more enjoyable. There's frankly 3 to 4 games that I'm playing on my cell phone that are just wasting my time, and I'm close to being done with them. Adventure Town I've been playing for years, and the only thing left to do that would be to grind and kill a bunch of enemies, like 1,000 more enemies, and then I think I would have maxed out that game to a level that nobody ever expected it really to be maxed out with. But I definitely have gone 2 or 3 years where there's been no new content and no new challenger element on that, so I should just get rid of that. I have Kleptocats and Kleptocats 2, which being gacha games themselves, there's still some stuff to unlock, sure, but oddly they aren't adding enough stuff fast enough. So it's
Unity, precision, perfection.
Let's see. Alright, how are we gonna do this?
Primitive.
The biggest danger removed. And then second biggest danger removed. And then I can do this, but it would be dangerous. But why not? Sure, why not? So yeah, there's a bunch of games I could probably get rid of and save myself some time. Now, not wasting so much time playing on my cell phone probably doesn't really affect how often I record footage. It really more just affects to how much TV or other activities secondary activities I do, because there definitely is in my mind now a work mode where I'm recording footage for YouTube and a relaxed play mode, and the two are very separate. I also saw on Reddit there is in Windows 10 apparently some way to disable micro stuttering or potentially get rid of micro stuttering. I'm waiting until I finish Zombie before I try it out, but I'm gonna try it out. If this all of a sudden makes Resident Evil 4 and the Lego games run well on my PC and my current video card, that would be great. Right now the prices of an RTX video card are too prohibitively expensive, so I was thinking I'd probably end up spending $500 for a 2070 when really I would like to get a 2080. Frankly, if the next series is called 30s, I would like to see I'd like to be able to wait till like a 3070 or 3080 and go one more generation or one more annual release before I have to buy a new video card or build a whole new computer at that point, possibly too. So if I can find a solution there, and then that makes those games work, it kind of could be 3 or 4 more years before I start running into problems with just not having enough RAM or just not having enough video cards. I don't see even in the next 10 years that I'd get enough upload speed on my internet to ever upload 2K or 4K footage, and I don't have enough hard drive space for that on my SSD. So I do need a bigger SSD, but that's kind of it. Let's see. Am I supposed to be playing spells? I guess it doesn't matter. Just go ahead and do this. Do that. And then that.
I'm ready.
The turn. So, yeah, that would be a really nice turn of events if all of a sudden it was just some stupid setting in Windows 10. It's surprising that Windows 10 still has problems with older games that worked on Windows 7 and Windows 8, but I guess not super surprising. If I was to get really weird about it, I probably would have multiple boots and multiple installs of different things.
Arena's full. Beat it.
Yeah,
I don't have enough mana.
that would be the way to do it, is have something that runs on Windows 95 or Windows 98 or Windows XP, and one on Windows 7. Moving on with the news, according to the Gamma Sutra, Nexon becomes a majority owner of the fledgling Swedish studio Embark. Let's see, Embark was established last year by EA's former chief design officer and DICE founder Patrick Sutherland, and pledged to create new types of interactive entertainment and simulated virtual online worlds. Apparently they didn't succeed, and so the Korean publisher Nexon has now a majority share on it, so maybe they'll succeed some more on that. As far as I know,
I wonder.
next Embark has not released anything. Apparently they're working on a cooperative free-to-play action game set in the distant future, and they're working on a platform that will let anyone create interactive experiences even if they have no proper experience with game development tools, which seems both of which seem to be more than they're actually capable of doing. Yeah, but I kind of get it too. Like, I imagine most people, even people who were upper management at other video game companies, probably don't have the money or the experience to start a new company and guarantee its success. Usually in the video game industry, it takes a little bit longer before somebody starts the process of a hostile takeover, which is kind of what I assume Nexon is working towards. But yeah.
Reactor core.
Yeah, I have no idea what I'd do if I was going to start a company. You know, I'd probably run it into the ground. Unless I could find the absolute perfect people to be the managers, be the people in charge. Alright, let's see over here. I don't think I'm going through the news fast enough. Do we have a watch and learn? Alright. Let's see if this guy, who is rank 6, will actually jump into a game so we can watch him. Meanwhile, we'll talk about a news story, and we probably need to speed up here. Gamatsu has an article here. Hatsune Miku Project Diva Mega 39 announced for Switch. So Hatsune Miku still going strong as a popular character. Guess we could skip through this trailer. I assume that this is a rhythm game of some sort that you're pushing buttons to match. This frankly seems like it's actually jumping through previous Hatsune Miku games, and apparently 39 is an indication that this is the 39th game in the series. Yeah. There's not great reasons though to want to play a Hatsune Miku game. Frankly, you'd be better off just watching a Hatsune Miku video instead. Unless you're just a huge rhythm game fan. We need one more victory here and then we're done with the Americas account. Game Sutra has an article here. The Valve Index makes VR prettier, but it's the controls that steal the show. I thought about putting the Valve Index, which the only way you can wishlist it seems, is you can wishlist the headset, but you can't wishlist the bundle with the 2 controllers and these 2 towers that are transmitters for location. So, inherently, while you might be gifted through the Steam Grand Prix the headset, a $500 piece of hardware for free, you still would spend about $400 to buy 2 of these and the 2 controllers. They come together in pairs. So these Knuckles controllers with their hand sensing and finger sensing technology. So I had it on my wish list for a brief second, and then I thought to myself, no, there's no way I'm going to spend $400 on a VR headset, even if I was gifted a $600 well, even if I was gifted the $600 accessory, the $600 headset, I'm not going to spend $400 on the accessories. So the whole thing kind of falls apart. So yeah, I put it on the wish list. I removed it from the wish list. I don't think that they would gift you this if it was at the top of your wish list anyways. I think it clearly says it would give you the top 3 games, and you are not getting a game if you're ordering the headset. You're getting I screwed that up. So yeah, even getting it free, I honestly don't think I want a VR headset, because it really wouldn't have been free in that instance. And I think that's the problem. If I got the full thing for free, I'd be okay with getting that and playing with it. Although, frankly, if I was in my right mind, I would probably just sell it. That would make a ton of sense. But yeah. So yeah, I'm still very much a mile away from ever wanting to own a VR headset. I've got too many other Steam games. And I saw some conversations about how the Steam summer sale is not really doing anything to attract new sales, because pretty much everybody has bought everything that has gone on sale.
Shall we make a storm?
There's nothing new. The only thing I can imagine the Steam sale could do is just kind of focus on pushing things that came out in the last year, but those aren't going to be discounted that much. So it's really just going to come down to whether people let's see. I'm just gonna wait, I guess. So yeah, I don't think the Steam sales can do too much. I don't think any sales can do too much though on PC. So, like, you're not going to convince somebody that, like me, that has over 1,000 games on their Steam account to then start buying Epic Games Store sales, even if I love the Epic Games Store, because that would really just be me buying the same games over and over again. And there's still something to be said about getting 20% off on a game that came out 3 months ago, and just buying games close to their launch date price during a Steam sale, if the Steam sale has some other element around that idea, which sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. So if I'm getting badges, if I'm getting trading cards, if I'm getting some kind of secondary reward for buying a game now instead of waiting until I actually would need to purchase it to play it, that there's something to be said there, particularly if it's on discount. I kind of wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing the beginning of let's see. I want to do this. Particularly. There we go. Surely the Grand Prix was a mistake, though. there totally was a mistake in that, but I think that there's something to be said about encouraging people to play old
My
games.
calculations are flawless.
That works for people who aren't a
My
YouTuber.
calculations are flawless.
Moving on, Gamatsu has an article here. The Walking Dead, the Telltale Definitive Series, which I think will be an Epic Store exclusive, it launches September 10th. Now, the danger here is with this, that I would have to buy potentially the whole series again, although it's $49.99, which isn't that expensive, instead of just getting the last bit of the series, which would have been a little bit less less expensive, or it should be less expensive to just finish what I've already owned. So they're also doing this graphic black cover on here. All right.
A new Valore Delana.
So them doing a new shader over the game doesn't really mean anything. Yeah, and see, it says Epic here and Steam is totally missing. So yeah, there's a documentary coming with it, music player, some other things. In the long run, if you've never played The Walking Dead and you're going to play it on console, the Definitive Series probably works for you pretty well. But as most people, I think, would have played at least Season 1, well, it probably is still worth it, even if you just own Season 1. The people that are getting really screwed are basically me, who owns everything except for the final season, and it doesn't seem like
You asked
that's going to there's going to be a solution to that anytime soon. Although, give it a year, and frankly, at this point, it is probably better to just give it a year, and I imagine everything will be back on Steam, and it will be easy enough to get the Walking Dead series. Now, some of the other Telltale games, maybe not so much. I didn't even see or look for Telltale games during the summer sale, because it kind of doesn't matter at all. The story ends where it ends, unfinished. You're never going to get a Wolf Among Us Season 2, or at least not anytime in the next 5 to 10 years. You're going to see The Walking Dead end in a kind of disappointing way, and in a lot of ways that the Walking Dead TV series has devolved into being kind of a disappointing experience. And you're just not going to really want to cover any of the other games. The Game of Thrones Telltale game, was there even a Season 2 on that? I don't know. If there was, it kind of doesn't matter. The old Telltale games that weren't so much licensed and were like the Sam & Max games are cool and all, but they all kind of fall out of being irrelevant. There's like no relevancy to playing any Telltale game other than to say, well, this company tried for years, and even though it had massive amounts of success, it ran its business into the ground by licensing and having no IPs that they actually owned. which was obviously a huge mistake in retrospect. Next, we have a Gematsu article. Imperial Saga Eclipse has been announced for PC and smartphone browsers. This is another Scarlet Grace Saga game. Let's see. We've heard a lot of these Saga games, but I still don't have in the back of my head what kind of game it actually is. And looking at this, it looks like it is a hardcore fantasy game series. It looks kind of like a almost Chinese style RPG. It's Yahoo Games Plus and DMM Games. So clearly this is going to be a terrible, unimportant game. It's not even on its own website.
The future is ours.
So do that.
Behold,
Then we draw a
the
new card.
tools of creation.
And then do that. And we attack here. Then we end the turn. Next story we have from TechRaptor, Black Ops 4 split screen support disabled without warning apparently. Treyarch has quietly disabled Call of Duty Black Ops split screen support in the last week. It took a while for people to notice, but they eventually did and were baffled. Why would a core component of local multiplayer be deactivated without any warning? Thankfully the devs have stepped in with a response to a mysterious issue. Let's see. I've reached out to the team and was informed that we have temporarily disabled split screen as we evaluate some known issues. We will share updates in the future of investigating this further. That seems like an extremely extreme decision to make. To do so abruptly and without any
tools of creation.
Without any consideration or thought.
Return to nothing.
Just gonna play this as fast as possible. Yeah, I pretty much never wanted to play any Call of Duty games or any of the Gamer Bro style first-person shooter games that like Call of Duty and Battlefront, so it doesn't really affect me much that split screen is being
Behold, the tools of
disabled,
creation.
but it should probably concern people who play those games.
Return
And certainly
to
losing local player split screen, or just the ability that somebody could do that, disable it in some unknown patch, or disable it just on the server side is ridiculous. And what was the bug? I really want to know. Is it some unimportant cheat that 1% of the people are using, or is it something major?
return to nothing.
Moving on, Gematsu has an article. So Desco opens a second game development studio. They're aiming for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Project Scarlet and Google Stadia. I've never heard of this company, Sodesco, though. They're opening it in Pelesian Czech Republic, so Eastern Bloc Europe. And let's see, they opened in 2015 when their publishing took the first steps in creating its own content. Its previous projects, including porting Defunct and Among the Sleep. Well, I think both of those are cell phone games. So yeah, if you know who Sodesco is, this might be important news. Otherwise, I guess it isn't. Alright. Freeze a minion.
Behold the tools of creation.
Time runs out on me.
Precision. Perfection.
Return to nothing.
Primitive.
And I'm not getting through the news very fast. TechRaptor has an article here. Ticket to Ride TV show is being developed by Propagate Content. I have no idea how a Ticket to Ride TV show would work. My only guess is that it's either like Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, where they take the general concept and expand it to a game show, or more likely it's some primetime game show that they're developing, but I have very little confidence.
Behold the tools of creation. Behold the tools of creation. Behold the tools of creation.
I can just keep on drawing cards, I guess.
Primitive.
Return to nothing.
There we go.
Job's done.
Should win. Yeah, Ticket to Ride as a game is not that short or interesting in particular, so making a TV show around it seems ridiculous. Yeah, they're saying it's going to be a game show, and feels like it almost certainly would be some kind of YouTube series and not something that actually made it on any cable channel, even an extended cable channel. That seems unlikely to happen. Well, we didn't get up in the ranks much, but we got 2 of the 3 daily quests done, and that's really all I need to do. This guy is just browsing his collection still, so let's switch over to the next recording, or let's end this recording here. Yeah, let's end the recording here. We've got maybe one more recording to do worth of news. This is really not a lot of news. So, yeah, we'll break up here. Stay tuned if you're watching live. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. The Steam Summer Sale is still going on. I could definitely use some donations there. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.